In solo leveling, Jinwoo watches footage of a massive A-rank gate that has emerged while Park Jong-soo explains that the size of a gate and its rank don't always correspond. However, this particular gate is releasing an overwhelming amount of mana. Jinwoo asks if it has been classified as an S rank, but Jong-soo clarifies that it just barely falls within the upper limits of an A-rank gate. He also notes that it's the largest gate ever recorded in Busan. For a brief moment, Jinwoo thinks about meeting up with Lee Joo-hee in Busan for some sushi, while Jong-soo continues explaining the situation. The association is hesitant to grant the Knights Guild access due to their lack of an S-rank hunter. However, if Jinwoo joins their raid team, they will have the necessary approval to proceed. Jong-soo assures Jinwoo that he will be well compensated for his participation. Typically, S-rank hunters receive about 10% of a raid's total profits, but for this dungeon, he is offering Jinwoo 20%. "Let's go 50-50, Jinwoo replies. Jong-soo is momentarily taken aback. Jinwoo clarifies that he isn't acting as a solo hunter. He represents a guild. He then reveals that they have just founded the Ajin Guild. Jong-soo attempts to negotiate a 60-40 split, but Jinwoo immediately rejects it. Internally, Jong-soo notes how young Jinwoo appears, yet how composed and assertive he is. Definitely not an ordinary individual. "All right then," Jong-soo concedes. "Would you be responsible for handling the boss-level monsters?" Jinwoo agrees, and the Knights Guild master informs him that since the gate has been present for nearly a week, they will begin the raid the next day. He offers Jinwoo a ride, but Jinwoo declines, stating that he has matters to attend to that evening. As he walks away, he reassures them, "Regardless, I won't be late." Yutae suddenly notices something unusual and asks if Jong-soo just saw Jinwoo's shadow move. At that moment, Jinwoo's phone rings, an anonymous number. Excusing himself, he answers the call. To his surprise, it's his mother, who has just bought a cell phone. She tells him that she simply wanted to hear his voice and apologizes if she's interrupting anything. "Not at all," Jinwoo responds warmly before inviting her to dinner that night. She happily agrees. In Busan, the Knights Guild hunters stand around, waiting for the raid to begin. Jong-soo, growing slightly impatient, mutters that they should have insisted Jinwoo come with them the previous day. He worries that Jinwoo might be running late, as they are scheduled to start in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Jinwoo looks up at the gloomy weather, wondering if his sister Jinah remembered to bring her umbrella. Without hesitation, he activates Shadow Exchange. Elsewhere, at a high school, 3 students walk through the halls, grumbling about their art teacher sending them to retrieve supplies. "How many plaster figures do we need to carry?" one of them asks. "There are 6 groups, so probably 6, another replies. "Even if we each take one, we'll have to come back for a second trip." One of the boys complains about the dust, wondering when the last time this storage room was used. His friend speculates that it hasn't been touched all semester. Then, something catches one of the students' eyes. His face goes pale as he notices a gate at the back of the room. He nervously points it out to his classmates. One of them walks closer, unfazed. "What are you so scared of? If it's closed, it's completely safe. Only hunters can go inside, and nothing from within can come out." It takes about a week for a gate to fully open. The nervous student hesitates. "Didn't you say this room has been abandoned all semester, and we're only just now noticing this?" Before they can process the situation, the gate suddenly cracks. A grotesque green hand shoots out, grabbing one of the students by the head and lifting him into the air. The boy flails, screaming for help, but the grip on his skull tightens. His friends freeze in horror as their classmate is crushed like an insect. The student they were just casually talking to is dead. Then, more monsters begin to emerge from the gate. Blood splatters across the walls. Moments later, all 3 students are dead. Orcs emerge from the gate, revealing themselves as naturally skilled hunters. While they lack intelligence, their tracking and hunting abilities far surpass those of humans. The scent of flesh and blood excites them, but as scouts, they restrain their instincts and focus on their mission. For an entire week, they remain concealed in the shadows, their senses sharp even before locating their prey. One orc surveys the intricate surroundings, likening them to a castle, and declares the start of the hunt. Ordering a companion to summon their kin, the orc bursts through a doorway, announcing their intent to slaughter all the humans in the area and secure their position before the true hunt begins. First, "We'll completely purge this place," he proclaims, his gaze locking onto the students in the hall. A boy hands a girl a drink, but their brief moment of peace is shattered by a sudden thud. Turning their heads, they spot a green-skinned monster brandishing an axe, hurtling toward them. Meanwhile, at the gate, Jin remarks on how much larger it appears in person. He takes note of the different teams present: the collection team, the mining team, and the formidable assault team, which consists of 13 A-rank hunters and 20 B-ranks. As he moves through the crowd, he is struck by the sheer number of A-rank hunters gathered. A hesitant voice speaks up, and suddenly, hunters surround Jin with questions. A woman suggests that Jin will be leading the raid today, stirring excitement and tension. Jung Yarim quickly steps in, questioning why they're putting Sung Jinwoo on the spot. Introducing herself as the primary healer of the Knights Guild assault team, she stresses the importance of coordination between the raid leader and the main healer. Jin turns to Park Jong-soo, asking why he hasn't clarified things yet. Jong-soo casually responds that he'll do it now and proceeds to announce that he will be leading the raid. The other hunters look visibly disappointed, but the guildmaster assigns Jin to the rear to ensure the group's safety. One hunter, feeling slighted, questions whether they are so weak that they require additional protection. He wonders if the elite members of the Knights Guild truly appear that fragile in Jin's eyes. Park Jong-soo chuckles, remarking on his team's boldness, admitting that while their behavior might come off as impolite, this kind of dynamic is normal for them. Jin, unbothered, simply notes that it means they're confident. As Jong-soo checks his phone, he signals that it's time to move out, and the raid officially commences. Meanwhile, at the Hunters Association Emergency Call Center, a woman picks up an urgent call. A student frantically dials the Hunters Association Emergency Hotline, her voice quivering as she reports that monsters have appeared outside her school. The worker on the other end asks, "Where are you calling from?" The girl, drenched in blood and shaking uncontrollably, whispers, "I'm hiding in the bathroom." Tears streak down her face as she sobs, "I was with my friend. But my friend—" The worker urgently presses for more details. "How many monsters are there? Are they close by?" The girl, barely able to speak, stammers, I don't know. I hear too many screams." Her voice wavers as she pleads, "Am I going to die?" The worker attempts to reassure her. "Hunters are on their way as we speak. They would never abandon you students, so you need to stay calm until help arrives. Do you understand?" More terrified screams ring out in the background as the girl hesitantly asks, "Really? Am I going to survive?" Desperate for more information, the worker inquires, "Do you know what kind of monsters they are?" The girl hesitates before answering, Yes. I saw them on TV, but—" She struggles to put her thoughts into words. The worker urges, "Describe them. What do they look like?" The girl stammers, "Their bodies are shaped like humans, but their faces are hideous. They're green. Their skin is green." The worker's expression turns grim. "Are they orcs?" she asks. A wave of dread washes over the girl as she gasps, "Yes, that's it! Orcs!" At that instant, an orc arrives outside the bathroom. The worker's voice rises in panic. "Get out of there now! Orcs can smell!" The girl's phone slips from her grasp, hitting the floor with a hollow thud. A blood-curdling scream echoes through the receiver. "I don't want to die." Her desperate cries fill the line before they are suddenly cut off, leaving the worker frozen in horror, forced to listen to the girl's final moments. Chaos erupts as students scream and flee, the walls painted with fresh blood. Outside, they bolt off the school grounds. A girl wails that her friends are still trapped inside, but a boy pulls her away, urging, "The hunters will handle it." Inside, the orcs stand amid the carnage, their blood-drenched battle axes dripping onto the floor. One orc clicks his tongue in irritation. "We lost half of our prey," he grumbles. Another orc reassures him, "There are still plenty left. We sealed off their escape routes." His eyes glint with malice as he commands, "Head to the next floor and slaughter them all." Upstairs, students huddle inside a barricaded classroom. Two boys stand at the front, gripping makeshift weapons, their hands trembling. Suddenly, the barricade crashes down, and the students cry out in terror as a hulking, blood-soaked orc steps forward. Panic sets in. A student desperately bolts toward the barricade on the opposite end of the room, only to be ambushed. An orc lying in wait swings its massive axe, cutting him down in a single slash. More orcs flood inside, their eyes burning with bloodlust. One of the orcs, a hulking brute named Baldy, turns to his leader. "There is a human here with magic energy," he growls. The boss smirks in satisfaction. "Kill that one first." At the back of the classroom, Jinah and her friends stand frozen with fear. Jinah clutches her hands together, silently praying for her brother to come to their rescue. Jinah screams, "You can't!" as she desperately pulls her friend back. However, Han Song-yi stands firm, bravely reassuring Jinah. "I'm awakened too, even though I'm only an E rank." Just then an orc eyes them and asks, "Is it that human?" Another orc replies, "No!" before noting an even greater magical energy nearby. His gaze shifts toward Jinah. "It's that woman! Die!" the orc roars, swinging his weapon at the girls. Terrified, they shut their eyes, bracing for the worst, when suddenly, from Jinah's own shadow, a figure rises. One of Daddy Woo's shadow soldiers, the mighty gorilla, emerges. Jinah, gripping the shadow's arm with teary eyes, asks, "Is Daddy home?" The shadow soldier, with eyes positioned eerily on the back of his head, clenches a fist before launching a brutal uppercut. The orc is sent rocketing through the school's ceiling. The remaining orc freezes in shock as three high orc shadows step forward, standing guard in front of Jinah. Meanwhile, deep within the dungeon, Jong-soo shouts as a twin-headed ogre stomps around the corner. The monstrous creature lets out a bone-chilling roar, swinging its enormous axe. Reacting instantly, Jong-soo activates his ability, clashing his forearms together to conjure a shield. The ogre's blade scrapes the ground before crashing into his defense. While holding the beast at bay, Jong-soo signals to Yun-tai, who swiftly scales the weapon and slashes at the ogre's eyes. "Now!" he calls, cueing Nuna and Hyung to land the finishing blow. The pair charge forward, severing the beast's arms, before two mages step in, electrocuting and incinerating it, completely roasting the monster. As the twin-headed ogre collapses, Jong-soo orders everyone to regroup. As expected, this raid won't be simple, Jong-soo states, a twin-headed ogre right at the entrance. He then turns to Jinwoo. "Do you know what they're called?" Jinwoo doesn't hesitate. "Gravekeepers." "Exactly." Jong-soo nods. "If it was just the boss, it wouldn't be an issue. But if they're appearing at the entrance, that means this dungeon will be filled with the undead." "Perfect," Yun-tae groans. "Jong totally jinxed it. Should we keep moving forward?" However, something feels off. The undead ahead of them aren't attacking. They're just standing there. The hunters exchange uneasy glances. They usually attack on sight. "Does it seem like they're being pursued by something?" someone asks. Jinwoo, watching the scene with growing impatience, had expected this A-rank dungeon to be a challenge. But then, a strange sensation washes over him. His expression darkens. This feeling, no way.